Very good. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. A little behind today on behind schedule, but welcome. My name is Coleman Meyer here with Game On Live Studio. First game of the day with the championship series: West Valley Warriors 9 and 10 versus Layton Christian Academy 9-10. It should be a good game today. Starting us off here at 9 a.m. Great kick by Layton Christian Academy, received well. Quick little offload here by West Valley, going down the sideline. Strong running, but quickly taken out of bounds. Tackled well and recovered. So it looks like it's going to be a line out for Layton Christian Academy. Looks like it's going to be a not straight throw in by Layton Christian Academy. So in that's going to be a turnover, and it looks like West Valley is going to opt for a scrum instead. Potentially seeing that they have maybe a better scrum than Layton Christian Academy. A little strategic play here right off the bat. West Valley with the put in. Taken out well, going through the hands with a nice little crash ball by their number 12. Strong running here. Is by their number 10, and that's going to be Tavita Kofe with a strong run right up the middle. Giving it to one of their forwards just to power through. Looks like West Valley's okay with just, getting the quick one-off passes, and it pays off for them. It looks like Layton Christian Academy is called for not rolling away. And then West Valley goes with a quick tap, quickly spinning it through the hands, going out wide, finding a little bit of space, and basically just driving through and being dragged down into the try zone, and it's a try for West Valley very quickly within the first 1 minute of the game. West Valley is able to just drive down the field very quickly. They chose to go off of a scrum, and which paid off for them, and they were able to do a nice strong run by their number 10, and it was carried over and did quick hands, and they were able to punch it in for a try. And it's a quick 5 for West Valley here, as they are the home team. And I'm trying to see who that was that scored that try, so we're going to stand by there until we get a confirmation on that. But, I mean, again, it was just very smart play by them, knowing that maybe they had a little bit of a better scrum than Layton Christian Academy, and it paid off for them. They went through the hands with their number 10, had a strong run, get a good platform, quick ball. Layton Christian was caught off guard by that, had to just back up, and they were on the back foot the whole time, and West Valley took advantage of that and spun it quickly after a penalty, and it was very smart play by them. Perfect, and we're going to have Layton Christian going to kick back off to West Valley. It's going to be interesting to see how Layton Christian is going to recover from such a quick try. I mean, here for West Valley for sure, the jitters have kind of been settled a little bit, and for Layton Christian, maybe they've, maybe those jitters have increased just a little bit because there's a little bit more pressure. And here West Valley kicked it through with a nice little chip and chase. Great covering by West Valley on that chase, and it looks like the referee's playing advantage. And once again, West Valley just running through Layton Christian Academy's just defensive line, constantly getting LCA onto the back foot, and then quickly spinning it out wide, maybe a little bit farther of a pass than he was expecting. Trying to get a little bit of an offload, wasn't able to handle it just quite yet, and it looks like it's a knock-on, so it's going to be an advantage for Layton Christian Academy, and that's exactly what he calls. So knock-on on West Valley, so it's going to be a scrum for LCA. And we'll see how LCA's scrum here, their offensive scrum, is going to be compared to West Valley's. This will be kind of telling what kind of decisions are going to be. And it looks like here that the referee changed his call and called a penalty for a high tackle on Layton Christian Academy. I believe the side judge there overruled the main ref and called for a high tackle. So it looks like it's going to be West Valley's ball. Opted for a quick tap and just running it through the middle. Once again, looks like West Valley's just, playing very, straightforward rugby, run forward, and it looks like it was stolen as they were running forward with their forward pack. Layton Christian scoops it up. Just trying to reset, getting some sort of footing. And West Valley's called for offsides, I believe, and Layton Christian opts to do a quick tap and unfortunately knocks on the ball. Yeah, right now it just looks like, unfortunately, LCA is a little, there's just some jitters that are still settling in, right? Championship game, only about 5 minutes into this game, and they're already down 5 points. It'll be interesting to see how they choose to kind of settle those jitters a little bit here. West Valley in the middle, scrum in the middle. Looks like they're putting their backs onto that right-hand side, choosing not to split those backs. And then they quickly go through try to do a little through kick, and it looks like it's scooped up perfectly well by number 10, I believe, for West Valley, and that's going to be another try. I mean, that was just great play there by, I believe it looked like it was their number 12 from West Valley, who did the little through kick, Viliami Kioa, and then it was scooped up by their number 10, Tavita Kofe, once again. Yeah, I mean, West Valley is coming in at different angles, coming in with their forwards, running through the line with very strong running. Even some of their backs breaking through the line very, very quickly, and LCA is just constantly on the back foot. And LCA trying to get maybe a little bit of a platform within their defense, coming up a little bit quicker, got caught off guard with that through kick, and West Valley was able to capitalize on that that extra aggression that LCA was providing. Looks like West Valley is opting to just do the drop kick for a drop goal rather than using a tee. And it looks like it had the distance, but not necessarily the angle that he was maybe hoping for. Unfortunately, so it's just going to be keep it a 10-0 here for now. Normally, when you are doing when you score a try, you do have the opportunity to choose either to kick from a tee or to do a drop goal. Obviously, drop goals are a little bit more difficult, where the ball has to drop onto the ground, bounce back up, and you have to kick it there. So, looks like West Valley was opting for that, but it didn't pay off this time. LCA to kick off, received well by West Valley. Great take there by West Valley, cutting through the defensive line, but it was quickly poached by LCA. It was a great poach there. So it looks like LCA is on the attacking foot in their on West Valley's half. Strong running here by LCA. This is maybe where they're going to be able to settle some of those jitters, just go through the hands, not anything too fancy. Looking like they found a little bit of space. West Valley was quickly able to recover, bending but not breaking on that defensive line. And it looks like the referee was calling for an advantage. West Valley being called for offsides. So it's going to be back. West Valley does need to go back 10 meters. And LCA opting for a quick tap here, looking for a little bit of space, going to their big 8-man, who once again knocks it on, unfortunately. And it's going to be a scrum for West Valley. No, that's really, really tough, right? When you're getting on the front foot, gaining a little bit more momentum, gaining a little bit of that that grass, and then losing that momentum immediately after a knock-on. So it'll be a big scrum for LCA to see if they can maybe steal this and capitalize on the good field position. West Valley with the put in. Once again, going to opt for a kick, and it's a great kick, finding a little bit of space. Great chase as well, and it was recovered by West Valley, finding, that extra space, looking for a little bit of support. There's a great offload there, but it looks like LCA was able to swat that ball down, but it did go backwards, and then he finds a little bit more space as he's squeaking down the sideline. Goes for another offload. And there's going to be a penalty on LCA for not releasing. So it's going to be West Valley's ball, and just we see how quickly the momentum can shift. So West Valley going through the phases a little bit, just going with their pods and their forwards. Maybe a little bit wild of a pass, wasn't able to get as much momentum as he may have hoped for his forward. Oh, and that was a great defense by LCA, able to get over that ball quickly as West Valley's support was a little slow to get there. A wild pass, but it finds a little bit of space outside, and he's going, and it's off to the foot race, and oh, and it was a great tackle by number 11 for West Valley, Siosi Koloamatangi. Great recovery tackle there. 14 was 14 from LCA. It looks like, can't get a name on him at the moment, but it looks like he had a little bit of space there. Was about to beat West Valley's wing there, but a great tackle by West Valley City. And it looks like there was a penalty on LCA, or excuse me, on West Valley, and so LCA was opting to kick for a touch. Did not find touch, but then it looks like West Valley ended up throwing it out of bounds anyway, so it's going to be a line out for LCA. Oh, it looks like for LCA that was Porter Backleon with a little bit of speed on the outside with his run, but unfortunately was tackled with a shoelace tackle. Okay, we'll see how LCA's line out is here. Great throw. Oh, and unfortunately it was knocked on. I don't think the scrum half was expecting the ball to come down as quickly as it did, so it's going to be a scrum here for West Valley. It does look like the LCA has a little bit more of an advantage over West Valley when it comes to lineouts. And I think that West Valley knew that coming into this game, and so any opportunity that they have, they might just opt for a scrum. So it's going to be another scrum for West Valley. Number 9 with the put in, Logan Myers. Powerful scrum by West Valley. Going through the hands of their backline, finding a little bit of space here with a nice little dummy pass. Oh, man, just almost had it with that extra offload, but luckily West Valley was able to scoop it back up again. West Valley slowing things down a little bit, getting all their forwards in their plays, their backs in, where they needed to be. And it looks like they weren't ready exactly for that pass, so the 9 was, the ball was on the ground a little bit. And it looks like there was an obstruction call. Oh, and unfortunately you are able sometimes, even a few years ago when there was a penalty, you were able to throw the ball farther away from the opposing team so that they didn't have to do a quick tap. And it looks like the refs have cracked down on that a little bit more and gave them an extra 10 meters on that penalty. So LCA is going to go for a line out, finds touch here, and see where they go, how they use this attacking platform to, score and settle those jitters a little bit. All right, LCA with the line out with the throw in. It's taken well. And it looks like West Valley was caught shooting up just a little bit quickly. Number 10 finding a little bit of space, but was tackled and dropped the ball. Let's see if it's going to be considered a knock on. Oh, and it looks like West Valley was called for offside, so LCA was bailed out on that one. Finding a little bit of space, running forward with their strong runners here. And West Valley counter-rucking very strong. And it looks like they're called for not going back far enough. So when you get this close to the goal line, instead of going back 10, you do just need to go directly to the goal line. And it looks like the West Valley did not do that. And unfortunately, it looks like there's a little bit of an injury here. It's a little slow to get up. But it looks like he is, referee, looks like he's okay. They're giving to their power forward, and it looks like he's in the try zone. He just has to tap it down. West Valley's, swarming to stop him from getting in, and it looks like he's done just that. Oh, it looks like there's some great rucking over, clearing out, and it looks like there was a knock-on done by West Valley, or excuse me, by LCA, so it's going to be a scrum for West Valley. Once again, we see here, LCA getting a little bit of momentum, and then after kind of, maybe getting a little try-hungry here, made a little mental error there and lost that momentum. So West Valley with the put-in. It'll be interesting to see how West Valley chooses to go here. They have a split back line. Surely they go for maybe the clear-out kick, but it looks like LCA trying to counter scrum. Oh, and unfortunately they weren't able to do it, but then West Valley trying to swing it out wide. lost control of the ball, found a little bit of space, and, unfortunately knocked it on. So it's going to be another scrum, but for LCA's put in. It's times like these where you have that short side of the field with the wing, and you think, as being a winger myself, you just see that little bit of space, and you always think like maybe if they're not if they're not noticing it at all, they can do a quick little backside play with the wing, and we'll see if LCA does that here. Looks like boring in is the call for West Valley. And so LCA is going for a quick tap. Strong running, and it looks like he goes in for the try. Just a quick tap by the big man. Looks like number 8 from LCA with the quick tap and try. It looks like Felipe Fekitoa with the try. Very heads-up play to just quickly grab the ball, do a quick tap, find a little bit of space, and just plow it in. That was awesome. Great job by LCA. And so we're right now within it's a one-score game. Though it looks a little bit more dominant on one side, the score doesn't show it as such, and so anything can happen here. It looks like LCA with a little bit of an interesting kicking technique, laying on the ground, lining the ball up, trying to get that perfect angle to slot it through. And unfortunately, I do not believe that went through. Had the good trajectory, but it looks like it was just off just by a little bit there, so it's going to be a 5-10 game for West Valley. West Valley with the kick. Unfortunately, it doesn't go 10, but then it does roll 10. LCA, was trying to pick it up, but then it was recovered quickly by West Valley. And unfortunately, Layton Christian did poach the ball, but was called for not rolling away, so it's going to be a penalty. So West Valley opting to do a quick tap, swing it through the line again, trying to find a little bit of space. Strong running once again, getting just 1 or 2 meters, but those 1 or 2 meters really pay off in the end. And the ref is calling for the advantage. And West Valley opting to do a quick tap. Number 7 from West Valley finding a little bit of space. Kenyon Pea. And the ruck covered well, not being contested by LCA. They're just trying to get into their defensive structure. And then West Valley, once again, finding a little bit of space with that kick, and a great roll there, but was scooped up well by Layton Christian. That's going to be number 11, Vayanga Havili. And he was tackled to the back of the try zone, so it's going to be a 5-meter scrum for West Valley. So now we see, on the opposite end, West Valley having an opportunity on that short side of the field to maybe, use something with their wing and kind of eyeball and see how, the way their stance is, whether or not they're going to be expecting the ball here. So, because LCA's defensive wing, you can see him just right there behind, right in front of the slide. He's covering that wing, so I don't think they're going to try anything on that way. But we'll see how West Valley chooses to attack this with a great platform off their scrum. And it looks like number 8 is just going to pick it and go, running straight through his own teammate as well as carrying 4 other players from LCA in the defensive line. Looks like West Valley is just swinging it out wide, finding a little bit of space, but it looks like he's just going to take it in himself. That's going to be number 10 from West Valley, Tavita Kofe, once again with the try. We've mentioned his name quite a few times, and he's been doing a great job just exploiting some gaps within that defensive line from LCA within the backs. As you can see here, just slicing right through. There's nothing really too fancy there. It's just exploiting a gap. LCA is being a little bit slow. When you're on that goal line, you really do need to try to get in front of their face very, very quickly. And LCA wasn't able to do that, and they were caught off guard. And Kofe was able to slice through. So they're switching up who's doing these drop goals. It's going to be number 12, Viliame Kioa. Looks like he slots it through this, so that's going to be an extra 2 points for West Valley. So it's 17-5 for West Valley. About 20 minutes left in this half. Nice high kick for West Valley. Wasn't recovered well, and unfortunately it goes out of bounds. And LCA is still playing, but it looks like the line judge did call the ball out, and so it's going to be a line out for Layton Christian. Although that could have been a nice try for them, they still have a nice attacking opportunity with this line out. Looks like the referee's having a few words with both teams, making sure the lineouts are exactly how they need to be. And it looks like there's going to be a few words with the line judge as far as what the call is. I'm wondering if they're making the call on whether or not it's going to be a knock-on and it's going to be a scrum, or if it was not a knock-on but went out of bounds, which would be a line-out. Either way, it's going to be a ball. The ball is going to be for with LCA. Unless I'm mistaken. Yep, so it looks like after having a little discussion, LC is going to have a line out. Very quickly they take that, a great throw and a great catch there by LC. Their lineouts are looking very, very good. And it looks like LC finding a little bit of space, but West Valley was able to shoot up quick enough to cover all the the offensive players. And looks like West Valley called for offsides. So LCA is opting for a quick tap. Number 10 from LCA running through, just shifting around, trying to find a little bit of space there. And strong counter-rucking by West Valley. And Layton Christian, although they have the ball, are on the back foot. Once again, just West Valley being very, very aggressive in these counter-rucks. When they find that opportunity, they really do try to push back. Layton Christian going with their forwards a little bit. And was intercepted here by West Valley. But West Valley once again called for offsides. Those interceptions are always really risky, right? It's, there's two things that could go wrong and only one thing that could go right. But when it does go right, it pays off for sure. LCA going to opt for a quick tap with their big man once again. And West Valley called for not releasing. LCA quick tapping again with their number 8 man again. And it looks like a yellow card was given to West Valley. And a penalty try given to LCA. Excuse me, it could be just a regular try and there was a penalty that came with it. But it looks like there was a try rewarded nonetheless. If it was a penalty try, I don't think he has to kick for points.
What was that? Water?
So it looks like there was no penalty try awarded. It looks like LCA did end up scoring anyway. So that's going to be number 8, Faleti Fekitoa, with the try. But it looks like number 1 from West Valley, Unaloto Tonga, with the yellow card. It looks like the conversion was no good.
Let's go.
So West Valley with the kick. Recovered, taken well by number 7 from LCA. That's going to be Maho Nilai Havili. LCA just picking and going, giving it to their backs. And here they are going with their forwards, just with a little pod, making sure they're in the group of 3, making sure they have that support immediately when they tackles. But it looks like West Valley was able to counter-ruck and get over that ball quickly and steal it. They're swinging it out to their side to where their backs are, finding a little bit of space, trying to cut in with a nice little offload there, going back inside, making sure to stay away from the sideline so they don't get tackled out of bounds. and recovered and rucked over well. West Valley going with the power running once again. Just slowly bringing in LCA's defensive line, bringing it in. And it looks like LCA not rolling away once again, and so it's going to be a penalty for West Valley. They're going to opt for a quick tap and then going with one of their forwards. Or excuse me, one of their backs. Nice little step here by number 10. Kofe once again breaking through the line, going right through the middle of the entire LCA defense and scores a try right in the middle underneath that goal post. Once again, that's going to be Tavita Kofe just putting on a nice little step there and breaking through the line a little bit and getting to that second level with their fullback in the, with the last defense and just running right past him. Kofe has done a very great job today, just breaking through that line with LCA and finding those spaces and scoring. I believe this is a hat trick for Kofe. So he's been doing a great job here for West Valley. It'll be exciting to see him here in the varsity level coming through these next few years. And it looks like the conversion was good, so it's going to be an extra 2 points here for West Valley. About 15 minutes left in the half on the clock, but again, the referee does have the official time, so there could be a little less time. LCA with the kickoff.
West Valley Warriors 24, Layton Christian 10.
Layton Christian opting to go to the other side here. A booming kick down the field would have gone out of bounds, but it looks like West Valley decided to cover that kick and sees that there's a little bit of space in the back end. Their wing was nowhere to be found, so he goes and clears that kick, or clears the ball out of their end zone, or their half, excuse me. And Layton Christian was able to recover it well with a little bit of a counter kick here, a little bit higher, maybe not exactly where he wanted to go as far as distance goes. And it looks like there was a penalty called here, so the referee's going to be having a discussion of West Valley of what they want to do. It looks like LCA was called for offsides on that call. Quick tap once again with West Valley going to the side a little bit, getting a little bit extra space for their back line. Going to one of their forwards with that support running, just strong running here by West Valley once again. And LCA able to just quickly get over the ball once again and steal that and countering this attack. Spinning it out wide once again, trying to find a little bit of space, but West Valley is quickly there to recover. It looks like there's going to be a penalty for a high tackle on West Valley. We'll see if LCA opts to do kick for touch here. Looks like they do. And it goes off the rafters and into the parking lot, but finds touch regardless. LCA winning that line out, but West Valley very quickly on that defensive line, stopping LCA trying to do their backline moves. It looks like there was a penalty, so there's going to be advantage for LCA. LCA finding a little bit of space here, finding their speedsters. Oh, and unfortunately that offload of that pass was not exactly up to par, but luckily they did have that advantage, and the referee's going to be able to bring it back, and they're going to do it. Maybe it looks like another quick tap here. LCA with a little bit of numbers here. See if they can be able to, just find a little bit of space. Maybe get an extra guy out there to support them with the pass. But it looks like West Valley able to counter ruck. See if they can win that ball back. And LCA once again trying to go for a quick tap with their number 8, just quick tapping and taking it down the field. And once again, another penalty on West Valley. Another quick tap by LCA as they continually drive down the field because of West Valley's mistakes. Number 10 from LCA finding a little bit of space. It's going to be another tackle. Yellow card here by West Valley once again for a high tackle. So LCA here with a little bit of momentum right before the half is over to see if they can score a try or two. And number 8 with strong running once again. See how West Valley responds here with the defense. And it looks like it's a little pick by LCA off of that ruck, and they just do a show and go, shows it to his back line, and then decides to find a little bit of space inside and just squeaks it in there for the try. And it looks like that was, I believe, number 10 from Layton Christian Academy. That's going to be Talon Dunyan. That was a great little dummy pass there. Shows that he's going to pass it outside. Gets the defensive line from West Valley, who's eager to try to stop the ball from progressing outside, but in doing so, shifting out and finding, allowing a little bit of space on the inside, and Talon was able to exploit that and dot it down. Unfortunately, there's, I believe West Valley's down 2 players right now. I believe number 1, Unaloto Tonga, and number 22 for West Valley, Tohi Similai. And, it didn't look like it was anything egregious. It was just looks like a continual infractions there of, offsides, and, and especially in that when it stops a potential try, they do need to, pay for that. So they did get a yellow card, but nothing too serious, and so we'll see how they recover here from the second half. And it looks like the referee did call for halftime already. He does have the official time, and so we'll see how these teams go into their locker rooms, how they adjust. I would definitely assume, for LCA, I believe it would be more along the lines of their defensive structure, allowing too many gaps, not making their tackles. And then for West Valley, definitely just, minimizing those penalties, right? We just saw, I believe it was a span of 4, I believe 4 penalties in a row that allowed LCA to just quickly drive down the field with a few quick taps. And, as West Valley was on the back foot, they, committed more and more penalties, and LCA was able to capitalize on that and score a quick try right before half. So we will be back in a few minutes after halftime.
Back there. Apparently I need prescription lenses. We all need that. My whistle doesn't work. They have prescription lenses. We're paying the ARs. Whatever else they're saying. I had a great idea that I floated by Mark, Bev, and Brent yesterday. So I don't know if you saw Utah Youth Soccer just implemented any referee reviews who does this season. That ban, that code, whatever, they can't come back for the season. We're implementing the same thing with rugby, with an asterisk that if that person completes the L1 referee course, they come back. I love that. We'll host like one right in the middle of the season, one at the end of the season. Yep. You pass that, and rather than it just being like just show up, like actually make them like you actually have to pass the class. Yeah. And then they can come back. So, yeah, I think that's great. Yep. Drop your kids off, you go wait in the car. Go get a coffee while the kids play. Sorry? Yeah. I'm curious to hear, because I don't know if it was, I think it was brutal. My understanding was you're supposed to, like, if the coach is being unruly, you're supposed to bring him to the center, give them an official warning, and then play on. If they do it again, then you kick them out. Not actually use a card on them, but give a warning and then give a card. Because I mean, what happens if Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I actually just warn the fan themselves. Like I'll go up, like, usually it's like 2 or 3 bad apples. So I'll go up and like, all right, you in the red shirt, that's your warning. Do it again, you're out of here. I actually had to do that in Genesis. I literally went up, warned him. He said something along the like, fuck you, ref. I'm like, all right, you're done, get out of here. Like, what do you think was gonna happen? Then I don't start the match, and then I start talking to the coach like, hey, we're not starting the match until they. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Mark and Brent were saying there's some sort of like directors meeting coming up in like June that we're gonna be kind of proposing new legislation and making all the directors vote on it. Yeah.
We have minutes.
You got any water over there?
I don't know what these do, but they smell from the wind.
We don't
I
need
just
these.
picked them up. Okay. Maybe you can answer my random rule question just because I'm curious. So when they have to kick the ball, they always tell them to get that pin or whatever. That safety means a lot of people always say like kick it before the.
Looking good out there.
What is that? Is it?
You're tired. It's the first game.
I know.
So you is it just this match and then the varsity girls match you're here for?
Right. Because it just seems like the team who gets the
Well,
ball.
I think we're
always
covered.
Like,
If you wanted more, I mean, I can always find
So they
some more
could
stuff.
have, but so
But,
I really have
not back yet.
okay.
It was like the first time. He's babysitting my nephew.
Want us to come and watch some rugby?
Who? Oh no, we're not. That's fun, yeah. I'm always in the other group. It's almost like, okay,
For 8 minutes.
neither has the
Yeah.
penalty back, but then the other one's like, oh, we don't care, we're just gonna go anyway. I'm like, well, that's I know, so it's kind of
Do you guys have the time on those yellow cards that came out?
2 minutes for the first yellow card and then 9 minutes for the.
That's how much time they have left?
Yeah.
Yes, that's correct. All right, good. Yeah, at halftime. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's make sure you weren't going on that clock, because that clock was wrong for most of that match.
Yeah, it was fun.
Okay, yeah. Excellent work.
Thank you. Gotta get all your stuff.
Wow.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the second half of the West Valley Warriors versus Layton Christian Academy 9-10s championship game here today. West Valley is up 24-17. It did look like it was a little bit of a lopsided, game to start, but then LCA was able to quickly recover, settle those jitters a little bit, and it's now a one-try game. Be interesting to see how these teams both adjust. Before half, some of the things that I thought they could potentially adjust on is definitely just the defensive structure of LCA's their defensive line. West Valley has been able to slice through pretty easily with their backs, and so for LCA to kind of tighten that up a little bit will help them quite a bit. Whereas on West Valley's side, just limiting those mistakes. Right now, having two players in the sin bin due to just offsides or hands in or not rolling away, or high tackles. Those have really kept LCA in the game. And right as I say that, it looks like West Valley was not able to kick that ball 10 meters, so it's going to be a scrum center for LCA to start off this half.
Now it's Saturday morning. There is no noise ordinance in Herriman, so you gotta make team noise. You gotta hear some team pride. There you go.
All right, and we'll see how LCA goes with this scrum. See how if they structure their backs to be split or go on one side. And it looks like they're opting to just go on one side. Personally, I would think because West Valley has two players in the sin bin that they would split so that they would have some more numbers on one side. It looks like they're just over committing to one side. It looks like West Valley was called for offsides. It's going to be playing at an advantage. Number 10 by LCA, taking it up, finding a little bit of space, and then the referee calling for offsides. It was a quick tap done by LCA, but the spot wasn't exactly where the ref wanted it, and so brings it back. LCA going to one of their backs, trying to find, or one of their forwards, but it was quickly tackled by West Valley, but the ball goes backwards. LCA finding a little bit of space, making some guys miss here. And once again, another penalty on West Valley, but they're playing advantage. LCA finding a little bit of space, going down the sidelines, but it was tackled well by West Valley. Gets an offload out. LCA getting tackled. LCA going with their forwards, just trying to get a little bit of structure once again. They've been going very quick ball, and so they're trying to maybe get a little bit of structure here so that they can set up their backs for maybe a backline move. One of the forwards taking from the ruck here, but it's quickly swallowed up by West Valley's defense. It's going to be a knock-on. It's going to be a knock-on, and it's going to be a scrum for LCA. So knock-on West Valley.
Back on field for the West Valley Warriors, number 1.
And it looks like West Valley Warriors Unaloto Tonga is back from his yellow card. So LCA with the put in. So going to their back line on this close side. Number 13 from LCA trying to find a little bit of space, but is tackled by West Valley. And he quickly spins around and tries to get on top of that ball, but he was not releasing, and so the referee is going to be calling him for that. Number 10 with a quick tap for LCA. It looks like once again they maybe weren't 10, and so he's running another penalty advantage for LCA. LCA's scrum half, just giving it to their forwards, pounding it forward once again, and then the referee brings it back to that advantage of not going 10 meters. LCA opting for that quick tap. Number 8 once again for LCA, just running forward, barreling through, gaining those extra meters just to put West Valley on the back foot. And Christian just slowing it down a little bit, making sure that there's a guy there to always catch the ball, that always has some support there. Their number 9 digging through that ruck, trying to get the ball. Number 10 doing another step, faking it, going outside, and then cutting back in. Maybe get another meter there. And at this point, when you get this close to the try zone, any meter matters, right? And so LCA just taking advantage of that. And then number 3 from Layton Christian Academy, running through, sliding off some of the defenders here, but was taken down. And once again, LCA with just barreling forward slowly, just taking their time, happy to go through these phases right now, just so they can, get those this try. This is where it gets kind of, messy, right? All the forwards are coming together, and it's just, head on head. And just, at this point, it's a game of inches. Just trying to maybe pick and go. As you can see, some of these forwards just grabbing from the back, but West Valley very stout with their defense. Pushing LCA back. The ball squeaks out a little bit, and then LCA picks it up and tries to find a little bit of space, but then West Valley is able to steal it, and they're going down the sideline, finding a little bit of space, drawing one of the defenders, and unfortunately, he did not step out. It looked like he did, but he wasn't able to, or he did not, and was taken down by LCA. So it was a great defense by West Valley to steal the ball. But it looks like, LCA was called for a penalty, but then it looks like it was actually a penalty for West Valley. And then he does a quick tap, and he's just sprinting down the sidelines. Number 9 for Layton Christian Academy. Unfortunately, just sprinting as he's keeping pace with number 15, and he just tripped, unfortunately. But it was a great run here by number 9 for West Valley. That's going to be Logan Myers with the run, sprinting down. But unfortunately, maybe ran a little bit more than he thought that his body could handle, so he did trip a little bit. It looks like he's a little injured. He's coming up, holding his shoulder. But then Layton Christian Academy was able to steal that ball because there was no support there for him. So Layton Christian is coming back. And then right as I say that, West Valley stealing this ball back on and back and attacking. And then Layton Christian again stealing the ball. Neither of these teams are able to keep the possession long enough for there to be any sort of momentum. So it looks like West Valley was called for diving over. The referee is stopping the time because of an injury. Unfortunately, it looks like it was number 9, Logan Myers, once again, who had a great run earlier. I believe it was because of the tackle that was made by number 15 on by LCA, Bregan Prince. Maybe, tackled and he fell on his shoulder wrong. And so you hate to see this part of rugby, right, with the injuries, but it is always a possibility. We try to limit these injuries as best we can through different tackling techniques, but sometimes, you aren't able to prevent all of them, just, pure sake of, how they fell, right? But we wish, him the best and hope it's nothing too serious. His last, 5 minutes of the half have been kind of hectic with a lot of, possession changes, a lot of mistakes, balls being thrown around. So I would love to see both these teams really tighten things up a little bit in regards to their passes. It's a fairly close game. It's a championship game, and so these teams are trying anything to get up, to get that advantage. But in doing so, are kind of, shooting themselves in the foot with this. And so it looks like, it looks like there was a shoulder injury, and he's going to be carried off here. He is walking on his own accord because I do believe it is a shoulder injury. It looks like it looks like he's holding his shoulder, and unfortunately, you don't love seeing that kind of stuff, but we wish him the best here.
Yeah, I have it. It just kind of keeps cutting in and out a little bit. All right.
Looks like there was a sub made by West Valley to compensate for this injury. It looks like number 20 for West Valley. It's going to be Robert Vainuku coming in. So we'll see. I'm sure, he may be the scrum half. He may be, the wing, and they have another player on the field able to be their scrum half. But looks like we're going to be starting the game with that penalty once again for LCA, kicking for touch, and it finds touch, so it's going to be a line out for LCA. LCA with the take, and it looks like there's a little bit of a miscommunication there. LCA not thinking that there was any play, but the referee said play on. LCA taking it forward with their forwards, making sure that they just have that support at all times with their pods. West Valley doing a nice team tackle there, allowing them to go to ground. Counter rucking, but number 9 from LCA able to get it out. West Valley coming up quick, trying to disrupt any play that LCA is trying to get up with. Swing it out wide to their wing. Going through the phases once again. And it looks like West Valley just diving over, trying to counter these rucks, and unfortunately not doing it the right way. And so giving Layton Christian the opportunity to do a quick tap and gain these extra meters here. The very strong run by LCA. Number 13 from LCA, Tifaga Havili. Looks like West Valley's counter-rucking again, but LCA, you know, holding as strong as they can, but West Valley just a constant wave of these players. But they are able to secure this this ruck. LCA just dishing it out to one of their players, making sure that they have that support. Looks like he's there. Puts the ball on the ground. LCA with a little bit of space here and numbers. You know, skips a few players. Number 12 from LCA finding a little space, cutting it back inside, going to ground. And it's another, looks like pulling. When they are rucking, you can't pull the player over to the ruck to clear them out. They do have to fight through that. And so it looks like that was what they were called for. It looks like West Valley's trying to maybe counter these rucks a little bit, and it's, you know, it's not really paying off because they're causing all these different penalties on them, and so LCA is able to capitalize on them. LCA looking for a little bit of space. West Valley with the defensive line there. Looks like a lot of them are just kind of, you know, standing in place, waiting for the ball to come their way, waiting for the ball to get wide. Number 10 just taking the ball up once again, giving it to one of their fours. Number 8 once again.
How much time?
Now he's at 35.
Okay.
LCA just going through the phases, making sure to secure the rucks. West Valley trying to counter the ruck, but then decides to back out of it. LCA maybe finding a little bit of space out wide. Does find a little bit of space, but unfortunately is tackled out of bounds. West Valley looking to do for a quick lineout, which they succeed, and they clear out a kick, and they go for a little bit of a chase with no one there because the wing was just running up. And it looks like West Valley is there to try to chase, but LCA does recover that ball well. Just takes it up, trying to get to their support. But no one's back there quite yet because they are trying to come back and recover from the kick. It's going to be a high tackle called on West Valley once again. It's going to be a quick tap, but unfortunately the referee needs to call it back.
Hey! Go to her!
And it looks like there have been a lot of high tackles, so the referee is starting to call. It sounds like from what I've heard is that he's going to start carding all of the high tackles he's seen because there have been quite a few high tackles on this West Valley side, and you know we need to keep these players safe, and so if there are more high tackles, they're going to start carding them and pay the price. Looks like LCA going for the quick tap once again, but is met well by West Valley. LCA swinging to the short side of the field, maybe to get a little bit of extra space on this next phase, but West Valley driving them back. West Valley is really disrupting these rucks right now, which is causing a little bit of a problem for LCA. I think LCA wants to get this ball out quick, but because of West Valley getting very getting into those rucks and disrupting it a little bit, it's slowing them down. And so here, you know, West Valley is able to win the ball back off of a penalty because LCA was not able to cover up that ruck, and they were getting desperate and they dove into the ruck. So West Valley swinging it out wide off of this penalty. And then finding a little bit of space off of an offload. He's got two other guys out wide, but it looks like he's going to just take it himself with a few jukes, and unfortunately just not tackling him quite yet. But then he cuts it outside, and then another man cuts inside with a nice little offload crisscross, and he goes in for the try. Great free play there by West Valley. You know, going off a nice little quick tap. You know, drawing his defenders out. Ball carrier taking it to the outside sideline, and then his player that was outside of him decides to switch back in. And, you know, finds a little bit of an extra gap and takes it in for the try.
I'm having frame issues with it.
And I believe that was Robert Vainuku with the try. So it was a great running by West Valley there.
Yeah. Yeah.
To
it looks like the conversion there is no good, so it's going to be 29-17 for West Valley.
Layton Christian Academy 15. And Warriors from West
They're out of subs.
So Layton Christian to kick off. A low driving kick, taken well by West Valley. Finding a little bit of space, driving forward. Finally taken down. Layton Christian trying to counter ruck. West Valley giving to to their pods, just driving it forward, trying to find a little bit of space so they can open up their free play here. Right as I say that, they do find a little bit of space, but is tackled and was kind of thrown out a high pass there, but somehow was scooped up here by West Valley. It looks like Layton Christian's trying to counter ruck a little bit, but West Valley has secured that ruck. They're just going forward, and it looks like LCA not completing these tackles, and so it's allowing them to get the extra 2-3 meters to put them on Layton Christian on the back foot. And West Valley just swinging it out, but a strong tackle here by number 13 from LCA, Tafagavili. But then West Valley able to quickly recycle that ball and find a little bit of space and draw it out wide to number 14 for West Valley. He's running down the sideline, breaking tackles, but is quickly taken down once again by number 9 and was stolen by LCA because there was no support there for West Valley after that long run. So great defense there by LCA to just quickly tackle that ball. But LCA trying to clear out the ball was blocked, and it looks like West Valley was called for offsides, or excuse me, LCA was called for offsides. So it's going to be West Valley's ball. Kofe faking a dummy pass there and then just going in for the try. Kofe once again with another try. I believe that's his 4th on the day. Looks like he goes for a quick tap here. And then he goes for the dummy pass, draws out the players out wide, and then he just cuts right back in and dots down the ball right at the try line. All right, so it looks like LCA going to be kicking off once again to West Valley. With about 15 minutes left in the game. LCA with a deep kick going behind West Valley's farthest player, but it looks like he recovers it well. Puts on a little bit of a step here. A little bit of a stiff arm, cutting in through the defenders once again. That's number 12 from West Valley, trying to get a little bit of an offload there. It was knocked forward, but it looks like West Valley finds some more space on that sideline. That's number 4, Nyase Malohi, the high tackle for LCA. So he's going to be going back 10 meters. And, West Valley trying to go for a quick tap, but when you do have a quick tap, you have to make sure the referee is able to see that quick tap happening, and it looks like the quick tap was taken behind his back, so he has to bring it back. West Valley just swinging it through the hands, getting out wide, finding some of that space, where they work their magic. Great offload there by West Valley, breaking tackles, continuing to just churn his feet as he is just being dragged down by different LCA defenders here. But resets and secures that ruck. West Valley just pounding forward with his forwards once again, setting up maybe a backline move, sucking in the defenders where, if you look out wide, West Valley has a little bit of space, and that's exactly what they do. They have a back on a forward, and they find a little bit of space out wide, number 14, but a great recovery tackle by number 13 for LCA. That's Tavaga Hafili. And number 10, Kofe with another step. Just slicing through the defense. But unfortunately, in doing that, lost control of the ball. It's going to be a knock-on by West Valley. It's going to be a scrum for LCA. So great defense to bend but not break here, and I think, you know, we'll see how LCA chooses to exit out of this situation. You know, there's a little bit of pressure on them here, as you know, West Valley's scrum might be a little bit stronger here to push them back, and we'll see if, you know, West Valley will try to steal this ball, but if not, I would hope that LCA does opt to kick the ball to clear it out, even just to relieve a little bit of pressure. But West Valley driving that scrum back, but LCA is able to clear it out. It's a great kick. Unfortunately, was not able to find touch. It had the distance, but maybe not the angle that he wanted to go for. It's a little bit of a slower chase by LCA, but a great tackle by LCA, number 14, Porter Backleon. And West Valley just resetting, they're a little bit flat because their players are trying to get back. But just as I say that as well, West Valley being able to find a little bit of space, doing a little bit of a dummy pass, stiff arms, and a nice offload there back to none other than Kofe, number 10, with another try. Great support lines all the way down that sideline, and it looks like, you know, that's the danger about a kick and not having any chase, right? There's a lot of space that's going to be given, and that's exactly what happened. LCA cleared out a kick, which was a good choice there, but in doing so, you know, was not able to have that defensive line that you may have hoped, and so West Valley, seeing that, took that opportunity to take it up, go through a few phases, and then, you know, identify where that space is, identify where, you know, LCA wasn't able to quickly get back onto that defensive line and exploit that and cut through, you know, a large portion of LCA's defense.
Layton Christian 15. West Valley Warriors 39.
All right, it looks like Layton Christian to kick off once again with West Valley at 39, LCA at 15. Deep kick, taking well by West Valley. Cutting through the defense of LCA, finding a little bit of space, almost taking it back to that midline. West Valley securing that ruck. Going to the short side of the field because I think there's a little bit of space there for him, and there is, just barreling through. West Valley's able to continually, even with 3 or 4 LCA players on him, just continually drive down with a quick ball with a dummy show and go. And drawing in some of the defenders, and goes with a little bit of a higher offload. Unfortunately, wasn't as low as he would have liked, and so it gave LCA an opportunity to recover. It looks like there's going to be a penalty on West Valley for obstruction. So it's going to be LCA's ball. See if they go for a quick tap or kick for touch here. They do opt to kick for touch. And it finds touch here, so it's going to be a line out for LCA.
Folks that are just coming into the stadium here for the Olympus Herriman game at 10:30, welcome. Enjoy the final moments of this match between Layton Christian Academy, Big Eagles, and the Warriors West Valley. The line out Eagles.
LCA takes the line out. Goes with a skip pass from 10 to 13. Number 13 taking up with some of the defenders. A nice stiff arm there, but unfortunately losing control of the ball there when he gets tackled. The ball is just flying around on the ground. Everyone's trying to scoop it up, but unfortunately has not been able to get any good hands on it. But then number 9 picks it up and unfortunately is tackled out of bounds. Looks like after the ref consulted with the line judge. It looks like he came to the conclusion that there was offsides on West Valley. And LCA finding a little bit of space out wide, seeing that there's only one defender, chooses to opt to that side. Number 14 squeaking down the sidelines, being dragged out of bounds, and he touches it down for the try. Number 14 for LCA, Porter Backleon. Great heads-up play there by LCA. Seeing that there was opportunity, only about, I believe, one defender out there for West Valley, just quickly moving it through the hands, finding that space, doing nothing fancy, but just noticing the space, and swings it out wide for an easy try. Looks like the conversion is no good. So it's going to be 39-20 for West Valley. With about 7 minutes left in the game. West Valley just being a little bit slow, getting to the ball there, maybe just to, you know, kill some time so that they don't have to worry about LCA getting back into this game. But West Valley with the kick off, goes to the opposite side here, the left side, taken well by LCA. Being on a little bit of a step here, number 7, but is tackled by West Valley very quickly. And Christian moving through the hands, trying to find a little bit of space. Finds a little bit of a gap here, tries to exploit it, but then West Valley is quickly able to, you know, tackle him and cover him well. But it looks like a forward pass was done by West Valley, or excuse me, by LCA. So it's going to be the ball is going to be, it's going to be West Valley's ball. Excuse me. Looks like they're going to opt for scrum. West Valley with the scrum, taken off of the back by number 22, does a nice little offload. You know, West Valley's doing a lot of running here, but a lot of it is, you know, horizontal running, not necessarily vertical. Getting up a few meters here. Let's swing it out to their forwards, just strong running. Honestly, I would think at this time just, you know, not doing anything too drastic, just kind of go through the hands. Just kill some of the time. Just go with your forwards. Strong running here by West Valley. Layton Christian Academy is coming up on defense, but just, you know, just as hard as they're coming up, West Valley's coming up even harder. And right as I say that, there's a pick and go from West Valley, pushing it forward. Swinging it out the back, and the Kofe pushing it forward, getting over that try line, excuse me, trying to dot it down. It looks like he was maybe held up or was stopped short. Referee trying to get a good little angle on this. I can't quite see it, so maybe it's not close enough. And I believe it was stolen by LCA. Great defense here. Right on their own try zone, or their own try line. Yep, Layton Christian has stolen. They're just trying to get a little bit of space, going with a pick and go. And it looks like Layton Christian is trying to, you know, try to get something going, but I believe it was carried over. And it's going to be a scrum for West Valley. So the call there, I believe, was that it was carried over into the try zone, and then LCA was tackled out the back, I believe. And so it's going to be a scrum for West Valley. Strong scrum here by West Valley. With a nice little kick through, chip through, but was recovered nicely by LCA in his own try zone, takes it out, but was on the ground and was quickly picked up by West Valley, and it's going to be another try. And I believe it's number, let's see if I can get a nice little replay here on this. It's going to be a try by number 15 for West Valley. I believe it's going to be Miki Moleni with the try.
To kick for the Warriors, number 7. That's Kenyon Payne.
Looks like Kenyon Peo with the kick.
That was Michael Lenny on the score, and the kick is up and good. And it's 2 over 4 for Warriors.
Looks like conversion was good.
So with an
So it's 46-20.
your Warriors 46, Eagles 20.
Hey, let's go. Do one more try. Let's go.
Versus Herriman. Hey, and listen up, both teams that are playing now, so this is an announcement for
It's like
the
LCA to kick off.
bench. As soon as this meeting is over, the match editor, please exit and go out to the northeast corner.
It's a nice high short kick.
For the presentation.
Knocked on by West Valley. It's going to be a scrum for LCA. You know, sometimes when those high balls come and you know it's a little short, you know LCA's, you know, the opposing team is, you know, breathing down your neck, and so there's a little bit of pressure there to catch it, and I think that's what happened here. Is just, you know, thinking maybe too much about the opposing team, and it just slipped right through. All right, so it's going to be a scrum for LCA.
There's always 1-1.
Warriors make some noise. Eagles make some noise.
Strong scrum here by West Valley, but it was taken well by LCA. Swing it through the hands, doing a little skip from there, 10 to 13. 13 finding a little bit of space here, but with a nice offload to number 11 for LCA. And it's going to be a try here. He's going to go right between the goalposts. It's going to be a try for number 11, Veyangi Havili, with a great line there by number 13, Taifaga Havili. I can only guess that those two are brothers, as they do have the same last name. And so it's a great little connection there by both number 13 and number 11. Looks like maybe LCA trying to go a little bit quicker here. Slots through that conversion. It's going to be another 2 points. So it's going to be 46-27, and after that try, that is game called by the referee. So it looks like your champions for the 9 and 10 group is going to be the West Valley Warriors. Doing a great job running hard lines, being very stout on defense. You know, with their open play, did a very good job to, you know, to exploit the space that they were given, and were able to come up with a W. So great job, West Valley Warriors. Congratulations. Enjoy it. And this is Coleman Meyer with Game On Live Studio. Thank you so much for listening.